Your Excellencies, let us all be upstanding for the national anthem of the Republic of India, followed by the African Union anthem. You may now resume your seats. The next item is the screening of a short film on India-Africa partnership. The video captures the new perspective for prosperous cooperation post-G20 summit held in New Delhi in 2023.
मैं अफ्रीकन यूनियन के अध्यक्ष को G20 के स्थायी सदस्य के रूप में अपना स्थान ग्रहण करने के लिए आमंत्रित करता हूं।
Excellencies, I think that video that shows the depth and breadth of the relationship we enjoy as a continent with the government of India deserves a better applause. May I invite you to applause? Excellencies, we've definitely witnessed that it is from the sphere of economics, trade, peacekeeping, education, people to people, health, not to mention the assistance that we got as a continent during COVID-19. So our appreciation to the government of India for the fantastic strategic partnership we enjoy with this government. I now call on the Dean of the Africa Heads of Mission in New Delhi to welcome us here and to give his address. Ambassador Ferreira. Excellency, you have the floor. As Ambassador Ferreira is taking the podium, ascending to the podium, may we kindly ask for your indulgence and for you to kindly settle down so that we can all hear the important message from our Dean. May we settle down, please? Thank you. No, this.
Good evening. Honorable Dr. S. Jaishankar, Minister for External Affairs of the Government of India, Honorable Kirt Vardhan Singh, Minister of State for External Affairs, His Excellency Alain Oldemariam, Ambassador of Eritrea and the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners, friends of Africa, ladies and gentlemen, Namaste. It is with honor and immense pleasure that I welcome you to the 2024 edition of the African Union Day celebration. Traditionally observed on the 25th May, this year celebration was moved to June in view of the recently concluded Indian national elections. This adjustment underscores our respect for India's democratic process and also our solidarity with our host nation. Excellencies, I take this opportunity to congratulate the Government of India for the successful conduct of its recent elections. This achievement reinforces India's strong democratic credentials and serves as an inspiration for democratic governance globally. In similar vein, I also extend my congratulations to the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, and the Bharatiya Janata Party BJP for their electoral success. I extend my sincere gratitude to Honorable Dr. S. Jaishankar, Minister for External Affairs of Government of India, for honoring our invitation and gracing this event. Your presence adds great significance to our celebration. My thanks also go to the Minister of External Affairs for their invaluable support to the heads of the African Diplomatic Mission. Your dedication and collaboration play a critical role in fortifying the strong bonds between our nations. An enormous debt of gratitude and admiration is due to my esteemed colleagues among the African Head of Mission in New Delhi. Thank you for your hard work and cooperation in planning this event. Excellencies, today we honor the African Union, a beacon of unity, peace, and prosperity for our continent. Established with the vision of an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa, driven by its own citizens as well as representing a dynamic force in global arena, the African Union champions the collective progress of African nations. Our celebration today reflects the African Union commitment to unity, inclusivity, and solidarity. This year, African Union team Educate and Skill Africa for 21st Century underscores Africa's commitment to equipping our youth with the knowledge and skills needed to thrive in rapidly changing global landscape. For our celebration in New Delhi, we have adopted the theme India-Africa New Perspective for Prosperous Cooperation post-G20 Summit held in New Delhi. This theme reflects our intent to explore new avenues for collaboration building on the discussions and outcome of the recent G20 summit. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the relationship between Africa and India is built on mutual respect and shared aspirations, rooted in solidarity and cooperation. India's role in securing the African Union membership in the G20 during the recent New Delhi summit established a significant platform for our growing relations and renewed collaborations. Excellencies, as we plan toward the future, it is important to mention that the forthcoming Africa-India Summit offers a promising opportunity to further deepen our partnership and cooperation. This summit will provide a platform to review our progress, set our new goals, and strengthen our strategic partnership. We eagerly anticipate the productive discussion and outcomes from this significant gathering. To our esteemed Indian friends, including business leaders and investors, I emphasize the vast opportunity that Africa presents. Our continent is rich in natural resources and offers immense potential for trade and investment. The African Continental Free Trade Area is paving the way for a single market for goods and service, creating unprecedented opportunity for economic growth and development. We warmly invite you to explore these opportunities and join us in this journey towards mutual prosperity. Africa is ready and open for business, providing a dynamic environment for trade, innovation, and development. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, let us reaffirm our commitment to a future of shared prosperity and solidarity. The journey ahead abounds with opportunities for growth and collaboration, guided by the spirit of partnership and solidarity. This should be the takeaway from this celebration. Thank you once again for joining us today. Let us move forward with confidence and hope, united in our vision for a better world. Long live Africa-India relations. I thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Let's give our High Commissioner a better round of applause. Thank you so much. Kindly and especially I want to address the people who are behind. Kindly let us engage in low tones. Give us a few minutes so that the meeting will have more meaning to all of us. Kindly be patient with us for a few minutes so that we finish together and understand one another. Now let us take a moment to listen to a recording message from the African Union Commission Chairperson, His Excellency Musa Faki Mahamat. Kindly.
Fellow Africans across the continent and in the diaspora. 25th May 1963 to 25th May 2024. What a long way you have come. Africa has freed itself from the yoke of colonialism and the appalling system of apartheid. Its intellectual, scientific, and cultural resources have been immensely developed, diversified, and enriched. Its economy has grown at rates envied by many parts of the world. Its resilience during the global COVID-19 crisis impressed many. Tribute to Africa CDC, which made a major contribution to our successful continental response. Clearly, Africa's demographic explosion, its social contents that are resistant to the demands of the new world, the continuing deterioration of our climatic condition, the various forms of foreign interference in our internal affairs, the permeability of certain categories of elites to foreign discourse, and the obvious shortcomings in terms of governance have not helped to transform the above-mentioned positive assets into factors of social justice, equality, and inclusive prosperity. Fellow Africans, Africa Day, which we are celebrating today, is certainly, as I often say, an opportune moment for reflection. Certainly to assess how far we have come, but also to reflect on the road ahead. I would like to take this opportunity to address not only governments and official institutions, but also the youth and the women of Africa. Liberation and progress in development and integration are now a reality. This has been the result of the vision and the leadership of the founding fathers and current leaders, but also and above all of your mobilization by the hundreds of millions across the continent, your many sacrifices, your unshakable endurance to ensure that the sun shines and warms planet Africa. Peace and security, the solution to the crises that are ravaging some of our countries, terrorism, the degradation of the natural environment, youth and famine in employment, migration, the retreat of democratic values, and constitutional changes of government, all these require a real increase in mobilization, sacrifices, and coherent struggles to put a definitive end to all of these evils. The Organization of African Unity, born of the pain of our struggles, now finds itself at a real crossroads. We must reform resolutely and courageously to become what our founding fathers wanted us to be, which is a powerful lever for unity, liberation, integration, and the defense of African dignity in relation to ourselves, but also in relation to others. With the youth making up over 60% of Africa's population, tens of millions of hectares of arable land, water, fisheries, mining, and energy resources, our young people cannot and should not be satisfied with development on the cheap. the legitimate aspirations of inclusive and shared prosperity in a peaceful, integrated Africa as set out in Agenda 2063. That is the dream that I share with all my heart, with all of you. To all of you, I wish you a happy anniversary of the creation of the OAU.
Thank you, Excellencies and dear colleagues. I think the chairperson took us through a historical road and perspective, reflecting on where we came from, the present challenges and opportunities, but also the vision of creating an inclusive economy. I couldn't help but see the similarities with some of the statements made by the Honorable Prime Minister Modi when he addressed the Parliament of Uganda, where youth, the African agenda, African priorities were also articulated. So, to further elaborate on India and its role on the continent, its vision for the continent, we have as our chief guest the Honorable Minister S. Jaishankar, the Minister of External Affairs of the Republic of India, to address us. And I trust that we will continue to pay the attention that we currently have when we all stand and receive our chief guest, the Honorable Minister Dr. Jaishankar. You are welcome, sir.
My ministerial colleague, Shri Kirti Bachan Ji, Excellencies, Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a real pleasure to be here today to celebrate Africa Day with all of you. As we gather to mark the founding of the Organization for African Unity in 1963, I express our historical solidarity, underline our shared interests, and reiterate our common aspirations. Friends, Africa, we all know, is today undergoing very rapid changes. These span the range from being the cradle of human civilization to becoming the land of the future. It is a continent with the youngest demographies, one with the vast natural resources, expanding capabilities, growing markets, and most of all, rising ambitions. India, the most populous country in the world and currently the 5th largest economy, looks at Africa as a natural partner, anchored in trust and mutual respect. It is focused now on value addition within Africa with production, research, localization, and local employment. Now, you all know that India-Africa relations are deep-rooted and go back in history. Prime Minister Modi redefined our engagement in Africa by outlining its 10 guiding principles. These include our commitment to liberate Africa's potential by building local capacity and creating local opportunities, keeping our markets open, sharing India's experience with the digital revolution to support Africa's development, improving delivery of public services, extending education and spreading digital literacy in Africa, improving Africa's agriculture, addressing the challenges of climate change, and working with African nations to keep the oceans open and free for the benefit of all nations, among others. People-to-people relations are an important dimension of our relations with Africa. And we have extended e-visa facilities to 33 African countries. We have also expanded our diplomatic footprint in Africa with the opening of 16 new diplomatic missions, taking the total number of Indian missions in the continent to 45. We are proud of our long-standing educational ties with Africa. Several African leaders have studied in educational or training institutions in India. In keeping with our spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that the world is a family, India has also been at the forefront to provide capacity building and training to African candidates under the Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation (ITEC) program. Almost 40,000 Africans have been trained in India under ITEC in the last 10 years. India has also launched the second phase of the tele-education and telemedicine project. Since 2019, more than 15,000 youth from 22 African countries have been provided scholarships for various degree and diploma courses in disciplines like computer application, business administration, commerce, social sciences, and humanities. It is also a matter of pride for us that over 23,000 African students live and study in India. We have also established Indian educational institutions in Africa, the Indian Institute of Technology in Zanzibar, Tanzania, the National Forensic Science University in Uganda, the Entrepreneurship Development Centers in Rwanda, the various centers of information technology in several countries testify to India's commitment to advancing the AU's focus for this year, Educate an African Fit for the 21st Century. Friends, our contribution to infrastructure development in Africa needs special mention. The Government of India has completed 206 projects in 43 African countries, and 65 projects are being implemented under Indian concessional loans with a total outlay of over $12.37 billion. 81 more projects are at a preparatory stage. These cover drinking water and irrigation schemes, power plants and transmission lines, cement, sugar and textile plants, technology parks, and railway infrastructure. On the trade and economic front, India is the fourth largest trading partner for Africa with a bilateral trade of about $100 billion and cumulative investments of more than $75 billion. The African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, AfCFTA, opens up prospects for a deeper economic integration. India is the first developing country to provide non-reciprocal duty-free market access to LDCs through its duty-free tariff preference DFTP scheme. This has benefited African LDCs by extending duty-free access to 98.2% of India's total tariff lines. 33 of these beneficiary nations are in Africa. Excellencies and friends, India has always stood by Africa in times of trouble. During the COVID-19 pandemic, around 150 tons of medical aid was provided to 32 countries in Africa. Our vaccine Maitri is well known, and the bulk of the beneficiaries were also in Africa. India has also given medical equipment, ambulances, cancer treatment machines like Babatron to many. Traditional medicine is a domain where in fact we can do very much more, bearing in mind that the WHO Global Traditional Medicine Center is actually located in India. As for our HADR response, we have also provided relief material to countries hit by natural disasters, whether it is Zambia, Malawi, Kenya, or Mozambique. Friends, defense relations between us are strong and they are evolving. African defense ministers have already held multiple meetings in India. Besides training of military officers from several countries in our military training institutions, India has also contributed to the setting up of defense academies and colleges in Nigeria, in Ethiopia, and in Tanzania. We have deployed training teams in several African countries like Botswana, Namibia, Uganda, Lesotho, Zambia, Mauritius, Seychelles, and Tanzania, among others. India is the third largest contributor to the UN peacekeeping operations, with nearly 5,000 Indian personnel currently serving in 5 peacekeeping missions in Africa. India has also joined the Djibouti Code of Conduct and the Jeddah Amendment as an observer in August 2020 to play an active role in the repression of piracy and armed robbery against ships in the Western Indian Ocean and the Gulf of Aden, and in order to secure maritime navigation. Given our shared struggles, it is natural that we are supportive of a greater role for Africa in the United Nations and other multilateral fora. During our G20 presidency, as you all just saw, India took the decision to keep the Global South at the center of the global discourse. We put emphasis on the aspirations of Africa, not just the needs of Africa. The inclusion of the African Union as a permanent member of the G20 during our presidency in 2023 is a matter of great pride for us. We also completely stand behind African Union's Essolveni Consensus and the Sirte Declaration. We have reiterated our commitment to the Global South in the Voice of the Global South Summits, which we held in January and November 2023. Friends, we value the participation of African nations in the International Solar Alliance, the Global Biofuel Alliance, and the Coalition for a Disaster-Resilient Infrastructure. We are thankful to Africa for helping us to recreate our biodiversity. And I take this opportunity to invite African countries to join us in the International Big Cat Alliance. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, India has always believed in the transformative power of technology. We have been able to provide citizen-centric services, and we have revolutionized public service delivery to our own people by leveraging digital technology. Popularly called the India Stack, it includes the UPI and Aadhaar-like systems, amongst others. Our close collaboration with many African nations in this area has already started yielding results. India's strides in its space program have also opened up exciting avenues for cooperation with Africa. Space tech-based solutions in weather forecasting, in early warning systems, resource management, precision agriculture, and climate change, amongst others, can emerge as force multipliers which will actually help us to accelerate achievement of SDG goals. These tools can augment development processes in Africa, and we are open to deeper collaboration. For all these reasons and more, India and Africa must engage and must work together very closely. In this regard, we look forward to organizing the IAFS 4 Summit, and we seek your support to do so. We hope that the event would provide a more contemporary agenda of cooperation between us. So let me conclude by recalling the words of Prime Minister Modi in 2018. And he said, India's priority is not just Africa. Every man, woman, and child in Africa. Our partnership with Africa is beyond strategic concerns and economic benefits. It is one based on the emotional bonds we share and the solidarity that we feel. I assure you that Africa will be at the top of our priorities. We look forward to a mutually beneficial and mutually respectful relationship in the true spirit of being a Vishwabandhu. So thank you, Excellencies, ladies, gentlemen, and friends, for this opportunity to be with you all as you celebrate Africa Day. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Thank you so much. You may be seated. Excellencies, allow me to just thank Honorable Minister Jaishankar for that kind words of solidarity, but also of the vision that the Minister articulated for our continent and the government of India. Minister indicated that it is not only the solidarity that we must recall, but it's also a common aspirations. And you know, one of the aspirations that was articulated by Prime Minister Modi in 2018, Minister, was the following. He said, just as India and Africa fought colonialism together, we will work together for a just, representative, and democratic global order that has a voice and a role for 1/3 of humanity that lives in Africa and India. But you know, Excellencies, beyond those words, beyond the promises, the ideal, and the vision, those words translated into meaningful action when in 2023, under the chairship of India, Africa was admitted as a member of the G20, a permanent member. And so the voice that we speak about when we listen to the 2018 statement is not only rhetoric, but it's action. That solidarity is also expressed in the numerous visits. And tonight specifically, I must commend the Chief of Protocol and the head of the Mr. Kundan, so many of the senior officials. And so I think that expresses the solidarity that we enjoy. So thank you very much, Excellency, for those very inspirational words. My dear friend.
Thank you, my co-presenter. Your Excellencies, This event would be very much incomplete without listening to the drums of Africa. We have our next performing group. This is a group from Mozambique. Just one, so that you can feel the music from Africa, the drums from Africa. The first drumming shows the energy. We have talked of Africa being a virgin land, ready to be explored. There is a lot of energy and survival. That will be the drum cultural, then followed by the cultural dance that expresses our joy, our happiness. And without much ado, let us welcome the Mozambique team to the stage.
Tres, cuatro.
Excellencies, that was an energized performance. Let us give them a hand of applause. If there's something that India has in common with Africa, I think it's our culture, it's our diversity, our love for music, and I think rhythm. And to honor and thank the two troops that have performed this evening, the chief guest has agreed to felicitate them with a bouquet. You shall recall the chief guest talked about youth as our future and the importance of youth. And so we are very humbled and honored, Excellency, that you have agreed to present the troops and their representative with a bouquet of flowers. I hope so, Sanyu, can you facilitate the flowers? Thank you, Excellency.
Our chief guest, the ICCR team still requires you to give them their bouquet of flowers. Kindly, sir. As we now come to the tail end of our program, I wish to invite our Home's Protocol Committee Chairperson who led this process. The beautiful preparations were done or were led by Ms. Jacqueline Mukangira, the High Commissioner of the Republic of Rwanda, to give a vote of thanks. Thank you.
Your Excellency Dr. S. Jaishankar, Minister for External Affairs, Government of India, our proud chief guest, Your Excellency Shri Kirti Verdhan Singh, Minister of State for External Affairs, Your Excellency the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, Your Excellency the Dean of the African Heads of Mission, Excellencies, Secretaries, Additional Secretaries, Joint Secretaries, and other senior government officials, Excellencies, Ambassadors, and High Commissioners of African missions accredited to India, Excellencies, Honorary Consuls, dear diplomats, distinguished CEOs of public institutions and private companies, dear media houses representatives, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor and a pleasure for me to deliver a vote of thanks at today's Africa Day celebrations. On behalf of the Dean and all African heads of mission accredited to India, I wish to express our sincere gratitude to all who have contributed to the success of this memorable event. At the outset, I express our deepest appreciation to the Government of India, and particularly to His Excellency Dr. S. Jaishankar, Minister for External Affairs. Your Excellency, your support and cooperation have been instrumental in facilitating this celebration. Your presence here this evening, along with the one Minister of State and so many senior government officials, signifies the mutual respect, shared aspirations, and excellent relations between India and Africa. Many thanks also, Your Excellency, for your inspiring speech. Your Excellency, our chief guest, it is also worth noting that India is a historical partner of Africa in the framework of South-South cooperation. The admission of African Union as a permanent member of the G20 family was a key landmark of India's leadership, which Africa very much appreciates. Equally important, India has played a pivotal role in fostering a unit, cooperation, and strengthening the voice of the countries of the Global South. We acknowledge India's proactive role in fostering a more inclusive and interconnected world where diverse nations can collaborate towards common goals for the benefit of their people and the global community. Excellencies, a special thanks goes to the Dean of the Heads of African Diplomatic Missions. Excellency Dean, your leadership and support have been invaluable in coordinating this event. Your guidance has significantly contributed to fostering unity and collaboration among African missions, making today's celebration a true reflection of our collective efforts. To my dear colleagues, heads of the African missions in New Delhi, please receive my profound gratitude for your tireless efforts and cooperation in organizing this event. Your commitment and contributions have been so helpful in making today's celebration a great success. I wish to also extend our appreciation to the beautiful cultural troops for making the Africa Day celebration very enjoyable. Your amazing performances showcased the diverse cultural history of Africa and India. Excellencies, the success of today's event would not have been possible without the meticulous planning and coordination by the protocol committee. As the Rwandan proverb wisely states, when you thank a person, he or she is more likely to give again. So I'm deeply grateful to each member of the protocol committee for your commitment and teamwork spirit in organizing this celebration, and please keep up the momentum. Your efforts exemplify the spirit of cooperation that the African Union stands for. A heartfelt thank you goes out to all our esteemed guests and friends who joined us this evening. The success of our event would not have been possible without your presence. Before I conclude, permit me to also use this opportunity to invite our esteemed guests and friends to visit Africa and experience the diverse cultures, natural beauty, and warm hospitality that our continent offers. Africa is not just a destination, but a land of opportunities, ripe for investment and trade. We encourage you to invest in Africa, where vibrant economies, abundant natural resources, and a growing youthful population present vast opportunities. From manufacturing and infrastructure to agriculture and manufacturing, the potential for fruitful ventures is boundless. Indeed, it's well known that as the century progresses, Africa will increasingly be one of the world's economic engines. Excellencies, distinguished guests, let us, as we wrap up, carry forward the spirit of unity and collaboration that has marked today's celebration. Together, we can continue to advance the vision of the African Union and build a future of shared prosperity and mutual respect. Thank you once again, and please continue to enjoy the lovely evening. Danyavad, merci beaucoup, obrigado, gracias, asante sana, murakoze cyane.
Thank you, Your Excellency, High Commissioner, Madam Jacqueline Mukangira, for that vote of thanks. And now I want to invite our homes with the chief guest on stage for a group photo. And that also will include ministers of state, secretaries present, additional secretaries, and all joint secretaries present, and heads of government and institutions who are here with us. Kindly join us on the stage for a group photo.
ये ले ऊपर से अलग आएगा।